Okay, trying this again. Hotel life. I tell you what. So, welcome, my crafty and creative friends. I am sitting here in a hotel in Center, Texas. My husband is working out of town, so I came to stay with him for a couple days. I tried to go live earlier and it did not let me. I just didn't have very good service. So I've turned on the hotel Wi-Fi. I cannot promise it'll work very well. But I'm going to try because I did say I was going to do this. So if you're here and if you're jumping on and you're catching me and you got that little red thing at the top of the screen up there, it says live. That means we are live. I would love it if you would comment or say something. Tell me you're here. Possibly share it or sprinkle it. There's like terminology I'm supposed to use. I'm not really good with that stuff. But if you're here, I would love to hear from you. My work area is not the greatest. My ability to show you is not the greatest. I did not even think about bringing a stand for my iPad or for, oh, hi Lindsay, what am I going to paint? I don't even really know. This will be fun. We'll figure it out as we go. Actually, I think I'm going to show you how to do a quick watercolor sunset. It'd be nice and sweet and easy on some cardstock or watercolor cards. That's what I'm thinking. But, you know, I didn't bring all the stuff I needed. I'm so bad at that stuff. I wish I could just carry my whole studio this way, but I can't. So I'm going to do a little bit of painting, and I did start a little earlier, and then I lost everybody because my service wasn't good. So I am throwing you guys on the Wi-Fi network at the Holiday Inn in Center, Texas. So we'll see how well it works. That's about all I can say about that. But we are going to paint. We are going to paint a little bit today. I said I was going to do it yesterday or the day before, and I wasn't able to do it. Life catches up with me. So I'm going to do a little bit of watercolor painting with you guys. We're just going to keep it short and sweet. Tomorrow, if I don't get too tied up with work, I want to go check out, there's some resale shops and stuff. I figure I'll go live and kind of show you some of those. I'm looking for some things. I want big bags of buttons. I'm looking for that. Or like a bunch of little buttons. I have a project I want to do with that. And then I'm also looking for some frames. So that is the plan. But to start with, we're just going to do a little bit of painting. And really and truly, this is for my own benefit because I have had kind of a rough day and I really just need some downtime. So I figured I'd do it. I have this cardstock or watercolor paper I picked up from Amazon actually, and I can probably throw the link in the comments. I picked up this huge one. It's a huge pack. Watercolor cards, there's 100 of them in there. And I do this quite often, so especially when I travel, because watercolors are easy to take with you. The little paint brackets, the little paint things, they fold up. There's little paint pens and stuff like that. It's pretty easy. Water's pretty accessible. And then, so a lot of this stuff, like these cards, I make, and then I'm going to throw them at my my art show in November. That's the plan. So I can sit in bed and do these, you know, when it's quiet. And really and truly, the best time to be painting for me is when, you know, there's like, it's my downtime. Like, it's my way of decompressing. That's what art is to me. So this is kind of what I've been working on, something to add to my art show in November. I am going to be part of Art on the Bricks again in Gilmer, probably set up in our office, I'm pretty sure. So always got to add more, right? So if you are just jumping on, make sure you comment, sprinkle the love, whatever. I'm so excited to be here and still working. So anyways, watercolor cards, and I've already just folded this one in half, and it just really basically lets me know where my line is so I don't go over it. And then I also have, I use the Arteza brand watercolors, but you can get better. You know, you don't have to just use the Arteza brand. You can use any brand of watercolors. Watercolors are watercolors. Obviously, some are more pigmented, some you're going to be happier with, but you're never going to learn until you just buy a set and see what you think of it. I'm also going to use what is called Frisket or a mask liquid. I'm going to show you kind of how to utilize that. You should always have paper towels. You need some brushes. I forgot paper towels. I thought we had a roll here, but I can't find them. So no paper towels. So I am just using a washcloth from the hotel. Hopefully they don't kill me and it don't stain, right? So that is the plan. And really, we're just going to kind of play with it. So if you are joining me, make sure you say something. We're just going to do a quick little sunset. It's super easy. And I'm going to just do a little circle using this Frisket, okay? So it's going to be really hard for you to see. So you're just going to have to trust me when I tell you this is cool. And this has like a little dropper. I don't know if you can see that, like a little dropper. And I'm just going to kind of put a little drop where I want my sun to be. And I'm not going to put it directly in the center. I want a circle. So this is actually going to kind of get a little hard, and but right now it's wet. I need to let it dry before we move on. So I'm just going to do a circle where I want my sun to be. Just like that. You can't see it. It's white. I know. It's almost iridescent or clear. So I'm just going to perfect that just a little bit. You can use a brush with that if you want to too, if that helps, if it helps you to move that around before it dries. Okay, so then I just need to let that dry just a minute. Now I just put that Frisket or masking, what is it called, masking liquid down. I actually picked this up. There's still a tag on it. $1.99 on clearance at Hobby Lobby. Can't go wrong. I probably have 5 bottles of this at home. I still picked up the clearance one, right? So that's pretty much, once you can touch it, it only takes a hot minute for that stuff to set up. So it doesn't take long at all. Just kind of dab it until it doesn't touch my fingers anymore, and then I'm good to move on. I'm just gonna seal this baby up, and I'm gonna grab some color. So with watercolors, I like to kind of work a little backwards. Start with my lightest colors first. And in this case, because it's a sunset, I'm gonna do like yellow. So on your trays, which I have to really bring it back for you to see, I think. You have these side trays. You're supposed to take water and then pick it up and move it to the side tray. That's how watercolors work. You're not supposed to mix your colors in your little palette there. So this is just a wet on dry approach. And I'm just gonna kind of throw it out there, no rhyme or reason. And pick up a little bit of water, and I'm gonna dilute it however I wanna dilute it. So right now it's like that. Can you see that? Yeah, like that. The light's probably really weird and bright, huh? So, and then I'm gonna pick up my next color. Now I wanna clean my brush because you don't want those colors to mix with your watercolors, okay? You don't want to mix in your palette. I'm gonna pick up a little orangey red, and I'm gonna go above that with a little orangey red. And I don't want too much water on my surface. I just want a little bit. So if you find that there's too much water and you don't like it, you can always just kind of dab it with your towel, or paper towel is ideal. Probably not what I have here, but you know, it works. And then from there I want to go with even a darker color, like maybe a purple would be pretty. So I want a darker color. And I have this habit of everything I paint is just bright, bright, bright colored. So I'm gonna try to tone it down a little bit. I actually was talking to Lindsay not too long ago about how I really want to change kind of the way I do things. But you know, when you're an artist, what happens happens, and I am just drawn to these bright colors. There's nothing I can do about it. It just happens. So I got that purple down there, and I kind of want to just tone that down a little bit. I'm going to pick some of that up. Can you see that? Can anybody even see it? I don't know. I'm not even showing anybody's online, so I might not even be going live. It might be kicking me off. Who knows? I'm still going though, y'all, because I need to. So if you're catching the replay, just hashtag replay. Add some more color to it. Kind of go back and forth with it a little bit. Because I really like how with watercolors you can get so much depth and everything just kind of changes on the canvas with the water. Like, it's not the same where you're like filling in colors, you know, it's very different. It's a very different process. So here we go. Like that. Maybe just a little bit more of a brighter yellow. There we go. And I want to just let that dry. It doesn't take long for watercolors to dry. A lot of times I also like to tape down my surface. So if you are painting watercolors, it's always a good idea to tape down your surface because otherwise it kind of buckles with the water or it bends your paper. But because I'm working at a hotel and I'm really unprepared, I don't have any. So it is what it is. I'm just gonna let that dry just a minute. And sometimes it kind of beads up and changes the dimension where the water is, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't know if you can really, can you see that? See how different that is? I love it. So it ended up with some like weird lines in there, and I can't even tell you how or why, but it did. So we're just gonna touch that. And then it's kind of a reflective surface. Now I could add some water, I could add some flowers, whatever I want to do, whether it be ground or whatever. Your next layer on the bottom is going to be whatever it is we want that to be. I tend to always do some form of water. It just is what it is. So because of that, I'm going to go in a completely opposite direction and do maybe some green grass, maybe a meadow or something like that. Something entirely different, right? I'm going to pick up some more colors. Now we just need to kind of really let it dry. And that's the hardest part, y'all, is letting things dry. Because you just want to keep going and keep using that paintbrush. You have to know when to put that brush down. So I got some basic green, right? Some sky colors. It's hard to see with the lighting in here. I'm just going to let that dry for a minute, and I'm going to come back once it dries and maybe put a tree or two up there, or you know, put some flowers or something in there. And then, well, we might remove the sun first, because that's really the cool thing, to reveal the sun. I'm hoping everybody is still here. I don't really know what's going on with this thing, but this is what I get for trying to go live in a hotel. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to give this a few more minutes. It's kind of buckling on me because I didn't tape it down. So if you are ever working with watercolors, it's always best to kind of tape it down, because your paper, and you can kind of see it, it bends and it changes. So a lot of times when you're working with watercolor, you just kind of take it and you just tape your surface, and then that way it won't do that. Like I said, I am in a hotel today, and I did not bring all the supplies I needed, but that does not keep me from being creative, especially on a day like today. I was saying earlier before it cut me off, I'm just kind of having a very vulnerable kind of day, just not a good day, and I really just kind of needed to pick me up. And sometimes when I have to get out of my head, this is what I do. I try to be creative, and I think that's why art is so incredibly important. Almost done. This part's probably okay, but I still want to let it just sit for a minute. Another cool thing that you can do is buy the markers, which I'm actually going to use. Maybe I'll do that. Did I bring the markers? I think I did. I think I did. Watercolor markers are phenomenal. They're one of my favorite things to work with now. Now, I've never really been a watercolor marker type person, but today and lately, working on the go, it's worked for me. So I buy these Arteza brand, which I told you I absolutely love their watercolor products. They're just really high quality watercolor products. The Arteza brand watercolor pens are fantastic. So we may just go ahead and use that if I can ever get this to dry, which sometimes it takes a minute. And I've got clumps of, you kind of see that? Clumps of stuff on there. But it's getting there. It's almost dry. Then we can kind of pull that frisket off and see where our sun is, and then we have this wonderful little sunset. We can put maybe a tree or two in there, maybe some grass, something quick and easy. I love the idea of giving cards out, like handmade cards. So that's super cool to me. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I always work on when I travel. I bring them with me everywhere I go. It just makes life a little bit easier. And then I have some finished stuff that's affordable for my art shows, right? Okay. So this is pretty darn close, and I'm just gonna show you. So we put that frisket on, or liquid mask. So if I just kind of gently rub that, it'll peel up. And I know you can't see it, guys. I really do apologize.